Hey, welcome to H3 Live. My name's Steve Boese. I'm with Trish Steed.
Hello, we're here live together.
How about that?
That almost never happens. Same place, same time in lovely Denver. Welcome to Colorado.
Thank you.
We're here at the Gaylord Rockies for Workhuman Live 2025. And Steve, did you know this is a decade anniversary of when we first attended Workhuman?
Yeah, I remember something about that. It was in Florida, and
It
was that the one with Rob Lowe?
It was with Rob Lowe, which at the time, I was just like fascinated with the fact that it was Rob Lowe. But do you remember it was such a good tie-in to business and recognition and all of the things that we would want to learn, but from a celebrity standpoint. So it was actually a really good show. And here we are 10 years later.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to be working with our friends at Workhuman. We've recorded one podcast already. We'll be doing a few more. But it's great to be here. Workhuman as a company and Workhuman Live as an event have come a tremendously long way.
They really have. And I think the one thing that differentiates them is it's not just a recognition company, sort of air quotes there, because it's so much more. What they do a really good job of is tying outcomes to the way that people are recognized in an organization. And so we've just heard from Eric Mosley, the CEO, this morning. I remember, I'll go back farther than 10 years. 15 years ago, we saw him at an event in New York City when we were both in the practitioner side of the house. And I just remember being so inspired about his vision for how recognition could actually impact all parts of the business. And I feel like now, fast forward 15 years, and here we are, and it's doing it, right?
Yeah, I really think they were ahead of the game in many ways, both conceptually, technologically, and just how they're thinking about work. And I do think people now are more ready, more willing, more open to accept some of these messages about caring and recognizing and kind of empathy in the workplace and all the things that sort of you hear at Workhuman Live, right? I think the time is really right for it.
Yeah, I think back to even being a practitioner, and I still thought of recognition as sort of a very soft and fluffy thing.
Yeah.
And really what we know now through the friends at Workhuman is it's about strategically recognizing people so that you're thinking about how it impacts retention. I mean, we've seen lots of statistics so far in the last 24 hours about that, how it impacts learning and how active people are when they're learning and then sort of being recognized for becoming maybe subject matter experts in something or maybe just better at their job, how it impacts their performance then, obviously, and then the overall business outcomes. Businesses have much more stronger ROI when it comes to the way that they're recognizing their employees, right? It's not just about, we talked before with the podcast about, getting a watch when you've been at a company for a certain number of years or something. And those are all important.
Yeah.
But it's just really evolved in the last 15 years.
Yeah, and the evolution's really extended now with AI, right? So every HR tech company is talking about AI. Workhuman's no exception. But what Workhuman has released is this really cool human intelligence set of products, which I think the big advantage that they have and the real breakthrough here is not just the AI, because everyone's releasing AI. It's just the data that the Workhuman AI is working off of and is training on is this rich recognition data, which really consists of unstructured, open, honest communication, peer-to-peer, kind of really raw in many cases, unvarnished kind of discussions around what's happening in the workplace and how people in the workplace are sort of impacting each other, and putting the AI on top of that to help organizations really learn about who's making an impact in the organization, who understands this particular project, who is really customer focused in our organization, right? And so much more.
Right.
It's really quite powerful.
Well, and you might be surprised too. I mean, I think we've seen examples of that where using the AI prompts and really diving deep into that recognition data, you might be surprised who was the sort of most involved or most valuable on a team of a project. It might not be the leader. It might actually be a participant, right, on that team. And so it just helps you think of who your top performers are in a much different way, and in a way that sometimes managers don't even have access to. You've mentioned sort of that peer feedback, right? So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, the platform, Workhuman platform, that recognition platform empowers people to recognize each other, right? And in the past, most of our recognition or even most of our feedback, right, would come just from our manager,
That's
our
right.
supervisor. And an open platform like Workhuman empowers people and encourages people to recognize each other, right? Because you may be looking for that feedback or that validation from your manager, but day to day, most of us are really interacting with our peers,
Right.
probably 2-3x more than we're interacting with
course.
our manager, right? So the ability to call out people in the organization for what they're doing, the impact they're making, the contributions that they're making, and them to do that for you too, right? It works
Sure.
both ways. Incredibly powerful. And when you come to Workhuman Live, you hear those stories, right, from all kinds of organizations about the impact it makes in their organization. So I think, interestingly enough, I think 10 years ago, I was maybe a little bit more cynical than I am now.
Right.
I don't think I was even ready for this message. I was probably more like, oh, that's just fluff. That doesn't really
the
matter.
soft stuff, right?
Yeah, I've come around a lot on it.
I think I have too, because back then I probably thought, something around compliance or payroll would have been the most must-have sort of piece of technology. And now it's that tie-in to all of those elements of an employee's journey. One of the things, I'll take it back quite a ways. So when it was over a decade ago, I worked at St. Louis Children's Hospital. I was an HR director, and it was such a difficult job when it came time to recognize people. And so we actually heard from a woman by the name of Amanda from Arkansas Children's yesterday, who's a Workhuman customer, been a customer just a little bit over a year, and has seen such a high amount of ROI on their investment, and it's just now getting started.
Mhm.
And some of the things that I felt as pain points when I worked at a children's hospital, and how we could meaningfully recognize not just the nursing staff, but all of the support roles that help those children get healthier and have better experiences and outcomes in a children's hospital. We didn't feel like we could do that effectively. And now fast forward a decade later, and she was standing there giving real life examples of how they've built in those maybe more traditional ways to recognize their staff, but also super modern ways to do it as well. So I do get it now. But I think it sometimes takes hearing examples of companies that are really living it and seeing the value and being excited about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So really good stuff happening at Workhuman, both from the impact on organization side, as well as the technology side. I wrote this on H3HR on our insights page. I did a review, really an analysis of the human intelligence product, and I think it's one of the most impactful expressions of AI technology we'll see in HR tech this whole year.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage folks to check that out. But
if we say it's really different, we're hearing a lot of similar things about agents and, just generative AI in terms of job descriptions or things like that. Those are all important. But you're right. It's different. It's a unique way of using artificial intelligence.
Aside from Workhuman Live, I do want to mention it is May as we're recording this. It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
It is.
We're doing some things on the H3HR site about mental health awareness this month. But Trish, did you know still, even today, the American Psychological Association says 77% of workers have experienced work-related stress in the last month. And Trish, one more stat for you. Mental Health America reported 3 in 4 workers said work stress affects their sleep. That's a drag. The stigma still persists around mental health in the workplace as well. Trish, it's never been a better time to talk about mental health at work. I'm glad we're talking about it. And I do think there's a little bit of a connection, honestly, between the things Workhuman does with recognition and mental health. I'd love for you to maybe just share your thoughts around mental health at work and why it's important to us.
Well, I think, just for anyone that follows you and I, we have been on sort of our own mental health awareness journey over the last few years. We've been very public about that. I mean, the importance of having a therapist to speak with, or just groups of people that you can relate to and talk to about things that you're going through. We've both found that tremendously helpful over the years. So I think the stigma in general, maybe the younger generation pushing upon our generation a little bit, saying it's okay to talk about these things. It's okay to maybe tell your boss when you're just struggling or having just a hard day, right? Even with each other, we work together, and I can call you and say, I'm just not doing well today, right? I just need to take a day where I'm not really that dialed in. But when it comes to what we've seen at Workhuman, I mean, thinking about even when you're giving someone positive praise and feedback, sometimes we do it in in a way where the words might have the undesired effect. So for example, telling someone like, oh, I'm recognizing you because you've been working so hard and, trying not to get burnt out and you're working tirelessly. Those are things we would think of as very positive if I said that to you. But the truth is that those are the people who become more likely to have absentee issues.
Yeah.
Right? You're pointing out the sort of burnout and those sorts of things. So yeah, having a solution like Workhuman where it's also helping you kind of remove some of that biased language from your vocabulary. And when you're giving someone recognition, it really is in a more positive light. So I gave you recognition today. Do you want to maybe share your little prize I brought you from the Sweet Spot here at Workhuman Live?
This is really cool. Writer teams, bigger ideas, powered by connection. Trish, did you know that inclusive, diverse teams are 39% more likely to outperform their peers? And you should celebrate them with recognition. And I got recognized with this cool pair of rainbow socks.
You love socks.
I do like them. So I will wear these. I'll wear these tomorrow.
Mine says, no road is too rocky when you're appreciated. Hitting bumps in the road, recognition smooths away, boosting retention by up to 45%. And that number may sound really high, but we've actually talked to customers here while we've been here this week, and they are sharing similar numbers, right? Double-digit issues with retention down to single-digit, right, retention. So it's really important. I'll share mine. Mine are rocky road. I don't know what that says about me, but anyway. Some days it's a rocky road, but I'll have the socks to support that.
Those are very cool. So, Trish, it's been super fun. Glad to get back on H3 Live for the first time in a while. We'll have to do this more regularly this summer.
We are.
Yes. But great to be here at Workhuman Live. Make sure to check out all the podcasts that we'll be producing and posting from Workhuman Live. Thanks to our friends at Workhuman Live. And happy Mental Health Awareness Month as well. And I think that's it for H3 Live today.
For today, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye for now.